Can you see me? I'm a little short, so thankfully, yeah, I'm a little taller than the stand. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephen, and I'm humbled to be given a chance to tell my story of what St. Paul's means to me, especially since I'm one of your newest parishioners. I discovered her only 6 months ago. I came from two widely disparate Christian traditions. My parents were fundamentalist Christians, but I was lucky enough to go to a Jesuit high school. I actually liked the Jesuits, but fundamentalism had the louder voices. Fundamentalism was not a good fit for me. I asked too many questions, and those questions were not welcomed. It went downhill for me badly. So when I was old enough, I left. I discarded what had once moved me. Then I concluded, I was a teenager, then I concluded that God must not exist, and then I was angry at him for not existing, and then I was even angrier still that I had spent so much time even thinking about these questions. So I left, and I stayed away for 30 years. And during those 30 years, I threw myself into my career. And it was very rewarding in its own narrow way. But then I started to think that my worth was only what I could do as a provider. I devalued myself into thinking that I was some kind of a human version of an annuity. My days became, in the words of the poet Rumi, a furnace of stress and anxiety. Around 2 years ago, I revisited a lot of my earlier conclusions, and 6 months ago, I finally considered coming back to the church. I didn't know anything about Episcopalians, but I wanted to give you lot a try. So I made a list of Episcopal churches in the area, and St. Paul's happened to be the first on the list, so I came. And I was terrified. I was terrified about being judged for being away for so long. But from the moment I stepped through that door, I was greeted with a welcome that was so genuine and so warm and overflowing that trepidation melted away. And that Sunday, Easter 6, my first Sunday here was Madeline's last as the seminarian. And as I was sitting in the very last pew, and as Madeline approached the pulpit, I remembered thinking, I've never heard a woman give a sermon before. I wonder what this is going to be like. And it was like being unchained. I still remember what she said. Pay attention to the stirrings of your heart as you listen to what follows. Reject the impulse to criticize and try to embrace what is true here. Let yourself be moved. This is the kind of story that has the power to change you. And then she said things that I had never heard, things that I couldn't possibly even have imagined. And then she said, there is absolutely nothing you can do, nowhere that you can go, that Jesus is not coming to you and already with you. I've never experienced a place so lyrical, cerebral, contemplative, and welcoming all at the same time. The sincerity and the genuineness of that welcome, it was the power of roots to break stones, of rivers to carve canyons. It blew on the coal of my heart, and it continues to. Now, since this is being recorded and this may make its way to YouTube, I do want to take one moment to say 4 quick things to the person watching, whoever you are, wherever you may be, and whenever you see this. The first is something Father Daniel says before every communion, every Sunday. All are welcome to the table because it's not our invitation, it's God's invitation. And God is bigger than any of us, so come. The second is, come see what church can be like. Come see what you already know what church should be like, because I know you already know. I know you know it should be open, not exclusionary, humble, not sanctimonious, and cerebral, not cowed. God is not afraid of your questions. The third is something that Father Carling frequently has to remind us of, especially me. You are made in the image of God exactly how you are. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Your name is beloved, not shameful, not worthless, not sinful, not mistake. Your name is redeemed. Your name is friend. And the last one are the lines from a movie where Kelsey Grammer plays a pastor who says, "This place, it is yours. I don't care if anybody else thinks so. If you feel like you're an outcast, then join us here. If you feel like you're misunderstood and judged, this is where you belong. If you feel ashamed or trapped in something you've done or are doing, you will find forgiveness and freedom right here. This is your home." And then imagine my joy when Wally Fry, one of our eldest parishioners, told me, one of the newest, "Well, Stephen, St. Paul's has been like that for as long as I've been here, which is 25 years. So in closing, you know, when you do stewardship training, they tell you, make sure you get your pledge cards in first so you can ask them to join you in supporting the pledge drive. And I realized in my own case, that was ridiculous. You're not joining me, I'm joining you. You have been the stewards all along for one of St. Paul's greatest treasures. It's acceptance and welcome, and you've been doing it for long before I ever showed up. And I am so happy to join you to support her out of gratitude for all those who came before and for all her future generations to come. So, thank you, and pledge, please.